What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Will back with another video. And today we gonna get into another interesting video topic. Now today I'm gonna be bringing up a topic at hand that I kind of seen on Twitter, and me and my buddies talked about it a little bit. Can the Browns afford to lose Jim Schwartz? And how much of a blow would losing Jim Schwartz be? How much would it affect the team? And also, last but not least, how likely is it that the Browns lose Jim Schwartz? First thing first, Jim Schwartz is obviously a huge signing, huge factor. Bringing him in completely turned the defense around. Great defensive coordinator. He got the players to play harder. But I don't necessarily feel like I think that what was more important than anything was that we were more focused on beefing up the defensive line and building around Myles Garrett more than we were focused on the back end. I think that all kind of worked hand in hand and came together. I think if you would have put a good defensive line on that Browns defense that year with Joe Woods, I don't think it had necessarily been as terrible. I think that was a lot to do with player personnel base. I do think having a better DC has helped a lot. Obviously, it's been a major improvement with his defensive coordinator and his coaching. But I do think a lot of that has to do with the players also being better and also having a more talented defense and a more talented roster. I think that has a bigger part of it. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up as far as can the Browns afford to lose them? I mean, the Browns can. The Browns shouldn't losing a defensive coordinator shouldn't be the reason you're not able to compete for a Super Bowl. Period, point blank. Now, it's going to be very unfortunate if the Browns lose Jim Schwartz. Of course, we want to keep him here. But the loss of Jim Schwartz shouldn't be the reason you don't win a Super Bowl. You got guys like Deshaun Watson, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, David Njoku. The list goes on and on of highly played players this the Cleveland Browns team has. A defensive coordinator is not going to be the reason why they don't win the Super Bowl or why they win a Super Bowl. Now, a thing to keep in mind, as Browns fans, we kind of live in our own realm and our own, our own little bubble and world. There's only 4 or 5 head coaching jobs available right now. I know you got the Panthers, the Raiders. There's like 2 more. I think with the Falcons, Panthers, Raiders, Falcons, and then maybe the Bears. And the Raiders head coach did a good job with them. I don't know if he's gonna get the job, but it's not a lot of head coaching positions available in the NFL. But there's a lot of good defensive coordinators and a lot of good offensive coordinators. Now, when we look at kind of the history of people that get promoted up, a lot of the times they go with an OC for the most part. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Yes, Jim Schwartz is great for us, and yes, he has been great, and yes, he is one of the best coordinators as far as defensive wise in the NFL. But you got to also keep in mind there's a lot of really good offensive coordinators. My camera died, sorry about that. But as I was saying, there's a lot of guys that's available, like guys like Dan Quinn, Lou Anarumo, Brian Flores, Steve Wilkes. There's a lot of different guys. That's 4 guys I just named off the top of my head. And it's only 4 head coaching jobs available: the Chargers, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Raiders. So the chances of Jim Schwartz being picked out of a large group of candidates for some head coaching jobs that maybe only 3 to 4 he might have a chance at. I don't know necessarily if we can just sit up here and be like, hey, it's a sue-in that Jim Schwartz is gone next year. I think as Browns fans, we're constantly and just thinking of like the Cleveland mindset, like, oh my God, this is such a great coach. Anybody will want to be, licking their chops to hire Jim Schwartz. Oh my God. But I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. I think he's probably going to get some head coaching jobs some head coaching, not jobs, but some interviews, some looks. You get a couple of calls there. Some people will ask Kevin Stefanski if they can interview him. But there's a lot of guys that's in line to get a head coaching job. And he's of course one of those. But probably out of like 15, it's probably 15 good candidates. I don't know, I'm not gonna say 15, probably about 13, 12 to 13 reasonable good candidates. And it's only 4 head coaching jobs available right now. Now you got guys like Bill Belichick that might step down. Maybe that's a 5th right then and there. But the chances of them picking a coordinator that's currently they could pick a guy off the street and hire him as a head coach. They could pick Bubba Van Tromp. Like you never know. The head coaching thing is not like a draft where, hey, first pick in a draft. This coordinator had the best year. He's going to automatically get a head coaching job. It doesn't work like that. Guys got to want that head coach. A lot of this is to do with philosophy. Another thing to look at is, hey, a lot of people want, like I said, offensive-minded head coaches. So if you're hiring a guy, you got to find a team that wants a defensive-minded head coach, because that's what Jim Schwartz is. He's more of a defensive guy. He's a DC. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you look at the Chargers, I would assume the Chargers, the Falcons, with their weapons that they got, want more of an offensive-minded coach. I will be very surprised if they hire like a guy like a Jim Schwartz. But if you look at like maybe the Raiders would be a good team for. I could see him being the head coach of the Raiders. But their interim coach had a good little run in there. So I could see like the Raiders or the Patriots. Maybe he could get a coach in, at least an interview with those guys, and at least be able to go out there and try to get a head coaching job. But I don't necessarily think it's a guarantee that Jim Schwartz is going to be gone. There's a lot of candidates out there to pick from, and then on top of like just the coordinators, there's a lot of guys that's not in the NFL right now that can get a head coaching look. It's a lot of college guys. It's just I want you guys to understand how low of a possibility it is. It's not like a shoe-in or a guaranteed thing that he'll get hired as a head coach. So yeah, I don't think it's something that we're gonna really be having to worry about. I think he's gonna get interviews, but I think he'll still. If I had to bet my money, I'll put my money that Jim Schwartz should still be the DC next year for the Cleveland Browns, and it won't be really nothing to worry about. That's just my personal opinion on it, my 2 cents. You guys comment down below how y'all feel. Do you guys think it's going to be a lot of head coaching jobs available? And then if there is a head coaching job, what team is going to want like a defensive-minded head coach? Because we kind of just seen it with the last offseason, like a guy like Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores will probably be in line to get a head coaching job, maybe ahead of than Jim Schwartz. Who knows? You never know what type of look and what type of culture a team and a GM is looking for and the owner is trying to build. It's a lot that goes into head coaches, and it's a lot that and the head coach got to kind of all in line, like how Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski go yin and yang and they line together. That's how it kind of got to work. So it all got to add together. The situation got to make sense for them to hire a guy like Jim Schwartz. So we never know. Like I said, if my money was on it, I bet Jim Schwartz to be back here. Not just because I want him to be back here, but just if it's Jim Schwartz or the field, I'm a bet Jim Schwartz to be here and be the defensive coordinator unless he steps down. So that'll be my thoughts and my opinion on it. You guys comment down below how y'all feel about it. Do you guys think that Jim Schwartz will be here? Yes or no? Let me know. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I will say though, the one guy I don't want on this coaching staff, I want a new OC. I feel like Alex Van Pelt, AVP, he's cool, but I don't know if necessarily what he's trying to do as far as correlating the offense, even though it's Stefanski offense, I don't know if it necessarily, is to the best ability of Deshaun Watson. The stuff they're trying to do is like, it's almost like they're trying to mirror and like merge 2 different styles. I think that we need to bring in more coaches that's more offensive minded in the way of helping Deshaun, instead of kind of more of a, the Stefanski like the Kevin guys, like the Brock Purdy's and the Tuas and we need to bring in guys that can help get Deshaun where he wants to be at and where he needs to be at to be an effective quarterback. That is going to be able to be who he is. You know, he's got paid $230 million. We traded all of these picks for him. We need to build an offense completely around Deshaun Watson and not around what Kevin Stefanski is thinking. Because if we're not going to do that, what was the purpose of making a trade? Why trade for Deshaun Watson to make him a product of Stefanski? Stefanski need to be a product of Deshaun Watson. That's my 2 cents and my take and my opinion on it. Y'all comment down below how y'all feel. I think the only coaching change needs to be his AVP. Not that AVP is not even bad. I just don't think him and Deshaun mix really good. But yeah, it's your boy Will. Appreciate y'all coming in. I'm out. Peace.